Welcome back to the Tidarium Hangar. This is Mike, and I'm coming at you with the weekly news and review for November 22nd, 2020. 2020. And we've got a lot of fun, crazy, nostalgic news for you. We're going to talk about all of this fun stuff coming up. First up, I want to talk about a couple of things you can get at Show Z. Some pre-orders going on right now. We got a pre-order for the drag strip. This is a G2 version by DX9, so they're going all in on their G2 version. You can pre-order that at Show Z right now. Price on this guy is around 80 bucks. Now, I do want to talk about the second run that is incoming. It is still sort of a pre-order kind of thing. They're getting it in stock right now, so they should be shipping soon. But this is now $320 for the 01 Studio Cell or the Zeta Core Star version of Unicron. And I know that this thing was selling for like $400 before. If you get it right now, if you buy it right now, you can get one for $320 if this is one that you're in for. I also want to throw a quick heads up towards TF Source. If you're looking for the Fans Toys Sovereign M, they have them in stock for $300. So you can debate about the price. Is that a good price? Is that a bad price? It seems like it's lower than secondary market, so that's not too bad. If you're in on this and you want to get one, TF Source has it up right now. No telling how long they'll last. Okay, so we've been hearing around the grapevine here and there that we should see Smokey released in January. Now, I did check TF Source because that's the place I like to go. They're usually Johnny on the spot there for updating theirs, and they still say November, the month we're in. So that hasn't been updated. I don't know if that's been communicated to them or they just didn't update it. So I don't know if it really will be January or earlier or later. But hey, that's what I'm hearing, so I'll pass that along. So we are seeing some shots of the Flame Toys Kurikari Star Saber Black version with the packaging and a production sample. And what you can see is it looks pretty good. And it's the coloring that they use, the high-end paint that they're using. It's just going to pop. It's going to look great on a shelf. If this is what you're into, it's probably getting kind of excited. This item's only going to be limited to about 800 pieces worldwide. I also think it's the $400 price point on these figures. Looking at the next one, they are putting out their Fallen. And the thing about this guy is, yeah, he's going to be $400 also. But he looks big. He looks beefy. And this chainsaw thing that he's holding, I think it's just an exclusive that goes with a D4 Toys or something like that if you pre-order through them. So I don't think they're all going to get this chainsaw. But anyway, it's still a big, beefy, flamey looking figure. Here he is from a slightly different angle. And of course, all of these Flame Toys figures, none of them transform, but they are highly posable and they are made with high quality parts, high quality materials, and a great paint job. So we got a few more pictures of the Trans Arts Beast Wars Ravage. And this figure is going to be made of die-cast and plastic. And it's an MP scale version of Ravage from the Beast Wars show. And we was out there trying to hunt down someone. I forgot who. But anyway, that was kind of a fun episode to watch, man. Wasn't he hunting down Megatron or something? Okay, well anyway, this isn't... It looks like an actual prototype. So instead of just renders, we got a prototype on this picture here. Looks pretty cool. There it is. Closer to reality. And here is the transformed version, the alt mode. So it does transform. And that's something that's really important about these things. Transart, I think, is doing some great work. And hopefully they keep it up. So a bit of a light week of news when it comes to Masterpiece and what's going on in the MP world. Kind of soft now, but I'm sure that will pick up shortly. But this is almost like the week of Legends reveals. There are some major reveals going on here with Legends. Starting with this. This is New Age's Galvatron. Looks amazing. And again, we talk about Legends as being mini masterpiece. And they are. And they look so good. And I start to wonder, what could New Age do if they actually made a masterpiece figure? And they started upscaling. They pulled a magic square on us. But anyway, looking at this guy, painted really well, clean from the back, looking good front and back. Outstanding job that they've done on this figure from what it looks like. Loaded up with accessories. You've got the classic Matrix with a chain. Of course, you got to have a Matrix with a chain. You got four, well, technically 3 sets of hands, but 4 extra hands thrown in, swappable faces and all that. Just kind of the obligatory stuff you'd expect to get. But it looks so good. Jury is still out on the alt mode though, so it looks a little bit choppy to me. But again, the alt mode, I'd rather the alt mode suffer just a little bit if the bot mode looks that good. So I mean, we didn't get other angles of it. This is the only angle we've got of the alt mode, and this is what it looks like so far. So it looks like Mechanic Studio is putting out a 2.0 version of a Springer. Now they have made it, okay, there's the banner of McFans Toys, and the belief is Mechanic Studio and all of them are involved in McFans Toys. That's kind of the thought process there. But maybe this is a way of not having to call it a 2.0 and not say they're competing with themselves. But anyway, let's compare this to their old one. I think it does look a lot better of a Springer. I think with the old one, the problem was the shoulders. They kind of have that Toy World straight up, and I understand that's an IDW thing, the way his shoulders go. I don't know. That's what I've heard. That's what somebody told me. But looking at the Falcon, it looks a whole lot more like what I would expect a Springer to look like. But the old one wasn't horrible. It just wasn't great. And to me, it was kind of like early, the third-party version of the Legends. And now we're getting more refined. We're getting better versions. Kind of like we saw with Masterpiece. In the early days of Masterpiece, they weren't as great. And now they're getting a whole lot better. And we're seeing that with Legends. We're seeing that with this figure. Here are the alt modes on it. I think the alt modes look great too. Just really a great looking figure. I think McFans Toys, Mechanic Studio, whatever you want to call them, they are doing great work. These figures look amazing. I love it. Everyone tries to act like it's a New Age versus Magic Square thing, but I'm probably the biggest Mechanic Studio, McFans Toys fan out there, and I look forward to these every bit as much. McFans Toys has been a busy little company. They're reissuing their dinos, but they're in the Toon colors, and you can get 2 options. You can either go with the red swoop or the blue swoop. Now, I wish they would have let us have the first run type that had the gold and the golden where the yellow is, and more of a shiny, more metallic look to the silver. But you know, that's not what's being offered. It's the Toon. If you like the Toon look, then I think a lot of people are going more Super Toon, so that's why they're doing it. I think they still look good. These are some great looking figures. I think they're really just upscales of DX9 in the end of the day, but they look good for 90 bucks. If you're a Legends fan and you like Headmasters, well, you might want to get this one too while you're there. This is a nice looking version of Brainstorm, and I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I already did their Sea Dragon one, and that one was good. I think this is going to be even better. I'm kind of curious about why they went with the black on the fins and the black on the wings. I'm not sure if that's going to change in the final production, but still, it's a cool looking figure, a cool looking Headmaster, and if you're in on it, have it at Show Z. Getting into a little mainline news, I kind of got a bit of news that you can get Gigawatt at Amazon. Well, I guess they sold out of pre-orders and there's no way to order them just yet. Or maybe that's a filler for when they get them in. But Amazon's supposed to be getting them in, and when they do, then that would be an easy way to get this figure. If Amazon gets it and it hits hard in Amazon, it'd be really fast and easy to get this figure. I know the Walmart one, I've got mine pre-ordered through Walmart. I still haven't got it yet. I'm wondering how long it would take. But as soon as I see they're available to actually order on Amazon, I'll throw you guys a link. So moving into the next crossover project that they're going to do, and this is going to be the Marvel Comic X-Men mashup. And it's interesting because it looks like they did a mashup here. Now, they're not wanting to go straight like, hey, this is Wolverine, but he's got a Wolverine kind of like claws going on there. And I think people say the rest of him looks like he's partially Cyclops. And is that the right character? Okay, anyway, I've heard a lot of things, a lot of people discussing this and what they think it's going to be, or where they even came from. But this is the X-Jet from the 90s animated series is what he transforms into. And it's pretty cool looking jet. I mean, when I look at this, I kind of think of the Studio Series Jetfire. I mean, not exactly the same thing, but it's kind of a reminder or harken in a way in my mind when I look at it. Looks like you get a couple of little minifigures in there too. So pretty interesting that they're going this route. I'm not sure. Are you in on this? I'd like to know. Be kind of interesting to see who's in on it and who is not. Here's the packaging, and that does look like some classic Marvel packaging. The colors are right. So it's kind of a fun nostalgia thing. Very nostalgic going on here. They're playing on that, and I think it might work. So we've got some in-hand pictures of the Generation Selects Sandstorm, and this is a redeco of the Earthrise Ramjet mold, and to make it look like an unreleased version of a G2 Seeker. The thing about it is that these Seekers, this mold, it's a good mold, and they're going to reuse it as often as they can. And with the Generation Selects, it's going to be one of those things, kind of a G2 inspired thing, that it's going to come, it's going to go. They do the Selects for the figures that are made in smaller quantities, and they'll be harder to get down the road and track down. So whenever you get a chance to get it, I would say if you're in on this, get it right away, because the secondary market is going to just explode on it. Here he is in his alt mode, and definitely looks pretty cool. I know that I'm a bit of a sucker for anything that was kind of an unreleased back in the 80s. I know that if they released something for Star Wars that was planned but never released, I know I'd buy it no matter what. And so I'm going to be in on this guy too. And we're starting to see the Netflix War for Cybertron Deluxe Wave 2 showing up in US. What I want to say about this is I'm excited about two things here. I'm excited about the Alita 1, and I'm excited about the Bumblebee. Even though I still think $20 is too much for the Bumblebee, that's the whole cliff jumper argument all over again. I think $20 is a great price for the Alita 1, and if you missed out on a Wheeljack on the first go around and any of these other figures back in Siege, then you can pick them up now, and that's kind of cool. It's kind of fun. It keeps it on the shelf. But I kind of think the repacks are just going to clog up distribution eventually, and Walmart will have to either clearance them out or do something down the road. But I see a lot of the Wave 1 still in existence. What's going to happen to Wave 1 when they start showing up in full force? Now, I've been having fun with my own pictures, and I even took a few pictures. This is the best I could do. But anyway, if you're in for this blue streak at Walgreens, a Walgreens exclusive, when I bought mine just a few days ago, it was on sale for $14.99 if you have the rewards set up with them. So if you have the rewards set up with them and you enter your phone number or whatever to get your rewards, $14.99, $15. That's a great deal, great looking figure. And I know these exclusives are usually pretty hard to land, so if you see one and you see it for a really good price, then that just makes the deal so much sweeter. We got some better pictures in here where we can see the figures in the packaging, and here's Airazor. Airazor herself looks good from what you can see. Kind of exciting that we're going to get this figure. I wasn't impressed with the original one that they made, and I wasn't a huge Beast Wars fan back in the day, and so I was extra nitpicky of everything that they made. And so there were a few figures I thought looked cool, and I picked them up. This was not one of them, but now I think it looks good, and of course I'm going to pick it up. It looks good. But notice the very, very small window. They're reducing the size of the plastic that's involved. It's going to be cardboard, and all cardboard. Eventually, one day, we won't have a plastic window. Next up, we have Dinobot, and the Dinobot looks pretty good. That head sculpt, from what you can see, and his chest, okay. I think he looks good. I'm thinking it's a Voyager scale. I didn't catch that, but I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with this guy. There's not much more other than this picture to go off, so we're all just guessing and grabbing at straws at this point. I'm sure by next week we'll have 200 pictures to look at. Here's a better look at Huffer, and again, I like this Huffer. I have a handful. I think I have three different versions of Huffer in the Masterpiece line. I have a handful of what they've made in the past in the Legends. Huffer, and so I actually do have like a McFan's toys. So looking at all of that, this thing does look pretty good. I think the best one in the masterpiece would be the Bad Cube. So it'd be interesting to see how this looks next to Bad Cube, considering Bad Cube is now a $300 figure, and you're getting this for $20, and this probably is worth the $20. Definitely worth the $20. It looks that good. I do know for a fact this Inferno is going to be a Voyager. And, of course, we already got the Grapple. And it's kind of the, let's release the lesser of the two. Inferno is the more popular, I believe. And so will definitely sell. So we're all looking forward to it. And there's no surprise at all that we're going to get this Inferno. Looking good as much as we can see right there. I'm kind of curious what different accessories are going to get included with them. Now, I've already said this like 5 times. In fact, expressed disappointment we haven't seen a picture yet. And here it is. The Earth Mode Ultra Magnus. And I'm going to say I've looked at and thought about buying upgrade kits to the Siege version. I'm glad I waited. Maybe those upgrade kits to Siege would still work on this. But I can't wait to get this guy and put some upgrade kits on it and see what goes on. This is the actual Earth mode. This is going to look more G1, more tune accurate. And I'm not going to lie. The Siege version looked good. It was fine. It looked good. This takes it to the next level. It takes it where it should be. I'm looking forward to seeing more in-hand pictures of it. And then, of course, looking forward to see what those upgrade kits look like. Real quick, we got a slew of pictures. I don't know, maybe like 50 or 60 more official pictures. So I just sifted through and found the couple that I thought were the coolest looking and would encompass everything. This picture right here, I think this looks really good. If you see it, you got Megatron, you got Black Arachnia, little old Rat Trap, and then Prime and Cheetor. And the more I look at Cheetor, I'm a little bit less impressed than I was originally. But everything else I think is great. Even the Rat Trap. I mean, I think the Rat Trap looks good. He's just a little small. And since we haven't really talked a whole lot about Warpath, don't forget about Warpath. There he is. And I think he looks good. I don't think he looks perfect. I don't think he looks great. Like, I definitely wouldn't compare him to an MP. But on the flip side, for a mainline figure at $20, definitely looking really good. So this week we actually had a live stream. It was a G.I. Joe live stream. We don't get much of that. This one, we're revealing Flint. Well, they've revealed 5 things that are new. And Flint in the classified, here's the thing about this guy. He looks good, and he looks very much like what they said they were trying to hit the 1985 look. And I'm not a Joe expert, but I can be an expert on saying I know what I like, and I like the way this guy looks. Very heroic. The face looks super cartoony. Kind of thought he would look a little more real world than that, but hey, it's not bad. It's not a bad face sculpt. I'll show you a bad face sculpt in a second, but this is not a bad face sculpt, and it looks good. There's the box. Super excited about this. It's going to be a wide release, not a Target exclusive. Next up is Lady J, and she has a bit of a rough face sculpt. I'm not really pleased with her face sculpt, but I think it's more of what they did with the hair. Now, because she has a hat on sometimes and sometimes she doesn't, here she is with her hat on. I think she looks better with her hat on, and I think the whole face sculpt works best with that whole hat on and the hair tucked out kind of look, but still I don't think it's the best or the greatest face sculpt she could have had. Now, she looks very much like a classic version. Like I keep saying, they're going to give us these classic versions of the characters. And eventually, well, it looks like they've got the feedback. A lot of negative feedback about what's going on with the first wave. And then as the second wave started to get a little bit closer to original, they are going almost 100% all in, especially with this figure. So I like that. And if we're going to keep going in this direction, I think this line is going to be even more impressive than it already is. Here she is in her package, and I mean, again, the hair, the face. But look at all those accessories. She comes with quite a bit of accessories. I still look forward to her, and she's going to have the hat on for me, and she'll look great on my shelf. But I'm curious what everyone else thinks about her. Next up, we have the Retro Collection at Walmart. Walmart still owns the retro collection, and then there's a lot of reasons for why Walmart has this retro collection, simply because they are not, I guess, confident enough to do this as a widespread release. And so if they're not going to do that, they have to have a retailer that's going to back it, and Walmart's that retailer. Walmart's the biggest retailer, and so they're backing it. Now, I think it looks pretty good. The thing is, I think it's a different mold, but again, I'm not a Joe expert. I don't know every version of Joe that's been released, but I have a 25th anniversary Lady J. I don't think that this matches her, so this looks good. They're also putting out a Duke with a yelling, screaming face. But anyway, looks pretty good. Also, looks very, very G1-esque or vintage-esque, but kind of wondering why his chest strap, his bandolier, to speak, is not just one bandolier. It's kind of strange. But aside from that, is that something that you can change or fix or modify? I don't know. But I do like it. Now, I do want to comment on, you still have a gigantic bubble on this that we didn't have back in the vintage era, and I don't see a reason for it. But I have to say, I guess it gives a lot of people reason, if you really want a vintage, to go actually get a vintage. And Cobra Commander. Now, I have the 25th anniversary Cobra Commander, and I think it's okay, but I felt it was kind of like spindly. Like he was too skinny. For whatever reason, they made it look too skinny. And I think this looks more correct. My complaints, maybe a little bit too light a blue, but my other complaints on the classified were too dark a blue, so I'll stick with take the too light a blue over the too dark a blue. You do get a removable dagger, and the gun, of course, that clips in the back like usual. So that is cool. Like, if you remember, the original one had the dagger sculpted in, and now you can actually remove it, so that's so much fun. Very light week of Star Wars news this week. It seems like we get a whole lot at once and then very little to talk about after that. But the Mandalorian show is not disappointing. Very good. If you haven't seen episode 4, check it out. I really do enjoy this series, and I think most people do. It really is almost single-handedly reigniting Star Wars for fans all around the world. And I think that is the best thing we've seen in Star Wars since Return of the Jedi, and that's the way I feel. Clone Wars, Rebels, great. And a couple of the movies, I really enjoyed them, but I think this tops it all. So we've got some pictures of Disney Park exclusive figures, which I think is kind of cool. I don't really know how much of this is just recolors of what exists, but it looks like the CB-23 is a BB-8 droid, and with that, it's just recolored. Kind of cool. If you're having questions like, where do you get these? Shouldn't these start showing up a little bit down the road at the Disney store? Because that's where I get all of my park exclusives, and if I'm interested in something, I just check the Disney store. But of course, my closest Disney store is an hour and a half away, so. Forlom, it looks good, 3.75 inch, and again, that looks great. The packaging, I'd rather have it on a vintage collection card. So, I mean, I'm an in-package collector for the most part, so I would much rather see it on a vintage collection card, but still looks pretty good. And then you got this 5-pack at the bottom. I don't know what all the droids are, but the one on the very left on this 5-pack, this one actually is one that shows up at the purchase of the droids in the very first movie of Star Wars, 1977. But the other one next to it, that orangish looking one, looks kind of cool. And then, of course, we go all the way down to the Gonk droid on the right. But I'm super into droids, so it's really, I'm an easy sell on droids. If I see it in person, I probably would buy that 5-pack and at least a Forlom. And we've got a lot of the Black Series figures that have been announced. That should be coming soon. We can start pre-ordering all of them. It's kind of interesting. I do want to touch on something. If you look on this picture, you'll see the Darkseid Ray down in the middle. And it was pretty cool that you could pre-order the Darkseid Ray for $13 at GameStop. Well, GameStop informed me they're not going to honor that price, and I'm not very happy about that. But they did send me something to get a free figure, so I guess I'm not too upset about that either. So I did get a free figure out of it. I don't know if it's linked to that or if it's just because I buy too much from them, but anyway, I did get a free figure out of the whole ordeal or something. But I was kind of excited to get her for $13, and I was going to buy a couple of them because I know my son wants one. This is the only Rey I'm even interested in because I think she's a cool lightsaber, and it would be nice to see her with one flaw. She turned to the evil, right? So let me know what you think about this week's weekly news and review. What else is going on out there that's pretty awesome that I didn't cover, that I don't know about, because I really would like to know. Like, subscribe, and Tiberium Hanger out.